Yeah. So what we have to we have to just minute create a new file oops dot job. So we have to tell what are the four pillars of oops in Java. Starting from the abstraction. What is abstraction? So abstraction basically means hiding internal details and showing only the required feature to the user. And in Java, abstraction is achieved using interfaces and abstract classes. What does abstraction basically means? Like, for example, just give me a second. So we have to tell what does abstraction basically means. So like, for an example, for an example, data like this. Just give me a second. Area and like query meter. All right. Okay. And let's say this is a rectangle rectangle first. Okay. So what I already told you, like what is abstraction? So abstraction basically means hiding internal details and showing only the required feature to the user. Okay. So let's say a user comes and he wants what is the area. So he will directly call this area method. He he don't know the internal implementation or the internal working of the area method, like how this area is calculated, what is the formula of the area. Like we know, we have designed the class, so we know like area's length into breadth, but that user don't, and he don't have to worry about this internal implementation. And like same like you want to know the perimeter, you can directly call the perimeter of, and he will get the perimeter rectangle's perimeter. What we have to do, we have to do nothing. Like here we will go, like we will define like this int per sorry like int perimeter, and what we have to return, we all know, like we have to return what rety, we have to return like 2 into l plus b. The user don't know this formula. Yeah, okay, I'm just telling you guys, like user never sees this. User don't know what is the internal implementation, like what is the internal formula, how it is calculated. He will just see like there is an area method and there is a perimeter method. Whenever he wants to know the area of the rectangle, he will call this area method. Whenever you want to know the perimeter of the rectangle, he will call this perimeter function. Like this is abstraction. In real life example, we can say like a TV remote. We just click on the switch on button, our TV is switched on. We click, we tap on the, click on the like volume down or volume up button. The volume is adjusted. We don't know the internal working, na, how the circuits are doing all these things, how the wires are like set up, what is the setup inside the TV. We are just, the TV remote is just an interface, and we are just using those all those buttons. And we don't know the internal working, but our work, we are doing our work. We are seeing the, we are watching television. So it was basically what was abstraction. Now coming to like the second one is like encapsulation. So what does encapsulation means? Encapsulation. Let me see if the recording is on or not. Uh, Now what does encapsulate? Just to make that encapsulation means what? Oh, encapsulation. What is? So encapsulation basically means what? Like binding data is binding behavior and properties into a single unit. Like binding, like what are these? These are the behavior. These are the like these are the properties, and these are the behavior. So this is what is encapsulation: binding properties and behavior into a single class that is known as single unit that is known as class, and restricting the access of internal properties or internal fields. So how this encapsulation is achieved in Java? Nothing. We have to just how this encapsulation is achieved in Java by using access modifier, by making these fields as private, and like rebuilding and creating getters and setters method for these fields. Like I will tell you what I'm saying. Like what I told is okay. So here is LNGTH. So these are the properties. So binding properties and methods. Let me write quickly first. Huh. So binding properties and parameter. binding property and method into a single unit. And what does a single unit node? Single unit is called as class. So this is why this is what I told you now. Like binding properties and method into a single unit, and this thing what is the single unit is called? It's called as class. So binding properties and methods into a single unit is known as class, and restricting the access of properties access of properties or the internal fields. So how this encapsulation is achieved in Java? Making these fields as private and building getter setter method. Like let me quickly tell you what I am telling you guys, what I am saying. Like there is an uh, uh, general class, like take class A. There is one int A. Okay, we have to make this private. Okay, because we have to restrict the access to this now, and like we have to make a void set A. Okay, we will take A on this dot A of this dot A equal to A. This is our setter method, and this is our void int get A. This will be our getter method. What we have to do here? We have to just return this dot A, and now you will ask me. You can ask me like, what is this keyword? So this keyword basically means the current object. Okay, means this current object. This dot A means it will return this A, the value of this A, value of matlab like means like what how can I tell you like this basically this refers to the current object, and there is another keyword that is super basically references to the parent class, like parent class field, parent class data methods, and the parent class constructor. We will see later on, please. Uh, so this was what this was encapsulation is okay. Now coming to inheritance. 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 What is inheritance? So inheritance basically inheritance. What is inheritance? So inheritance means acquiring acquiring all the features of an existing class into a new class. Or in simple term, we can say a child class is acquiring all the data and all the properties and behaviors of the parent class. Like what am I saying? Like let's do this in VS Code. Here, like this is our class parent. It has like int a, and there's a void display method. It's just printing nothing like a parent class. Okay. Uh, okay, this is our parent class. Now there is another class. There is another class that's it, child class. Okay. And what this child class have an int b and void welcome method, and it does the printing, and this welcome method just like prints check. So if we just now go into the main method and try to create an object of this child class, so what do you think? Child C is what a new child. What do you think? What all the things, all the properties the method is would have show you. Okay, so this was our code. Okay, no problem. Like we told you, like this. And what we have done, we have created an object of the child class named as C. So the reference name is C, and it will point you to this. So what are all the things it will have? It will have a from here, and it will have a B from here. It will have a display method, definitely. Uh, it will also have a display method, but why I have to display here, and it will have a welcome method. So these all are methods, and these two are properties. Uh, what I should do one more thing like where and like let's okay. So overriding part we will do later. So it will be this one. So these are all the things that this C will have. So C will have the access of this A, like this display method and the B and the welcome method. So let's check now. This is happening or not? Like C dot A. Yeah. C dot A is giving me error wise. So okay, I have not initialized it. Like we can do what's the error? Like we quickly check. Okay. C dot A is now. Oh, I'm not extending this. Correct. Oh, okay, now A will be. And I have now initial, as you can see, I have not initialized this A, so it will definitely print 0 for me. And in the same way, I can access this B. It will also print 0 for me. No problem. Okay. Like we can access the welcome method as well as we can method access the display. So this is inheritance. Okay. Now the fourth one. What was the fourth one? So and the last one was basically uh, polymorphism. Okay. This one is called polymorphism. What does polymorphism mean? So basically, this is poly and this is morph. So poly means many and morph means forms. So polymorphism basically means many forms. And what does it do? So it allows a method to behave differently based on the object. It is of two types. Okay. One is compile time polymorphism and another one is runtime polymorphism. So method overloading is one of the example. Method overloading is is a form of compile time polymorphism, and method overriding is an example of runtime polymorphism. And now coming back to what is method overloading. Okay, what is method overloading? So method overloading is basically what does method overloading mean? So method overloading means a class can have multiple methods with the same name but differ in the parameter list. So what I'm saying, like, just I will tell you guys, like a class can have multiple methods with the same name but different parameter list. Like I have created this int a, int b. I will simply return sorry, I will simply return this a plus b. Okay, no problem. Now coming back to int sum, I am I am having again this sum method, but now I have to change this parameter list. Like I can do something like, okay, let's do this only, and I have to just do like return return a plus sorry, a plus c. So this is this. So see, this is method overloading. What I have told, what is method overloading? A class can have multiple methods with the same name but differ in parameter list. You can also create it like this, you can change the method definition. Like you can also do this like a double. Let's take it. Okay, this was all about method overloading, and it is an example of what? Uh, wait, it is an example of compile time polymorphism, because the compiler already if you pass two parameters here of int type, compiler already knows now okay, compiler compiler have to call this method. If you pass three variables, if you pass three parameters into some method, compiler already knows at the compile time which is some method it have to call. Okay, so this was okay. Now was another one. Another one is called method overriding. Oh, sorry, method overriding. What does this? And it is a form of uh, runtime polymorphism. PHI. And what does the method overriding mean? So method overriding basically means a child's class changing the behavior of the parent class method. A child class changing the method of a child class changing the behavior of a parent class method. So what I'm saying, like let's see here now. Delete this part. Like you can see here, there is a display method in the parent class. Okay, problem. So I will create the same method here with the same definition, method definition. And what I will do here, I will just print child class. Okay, like the yes, delete. Oh, let's do one thing. Delete this one. There is no need to here. Oh, okay, no, later on. So, like, okay, let's go add a display. So this is parent class display. So this is what is method overriding, and she okay, method overriding is just showing me just add a override annotation. So what this annotation means, it tells the compiler that whatever I am going to write below is I am just trying to override a method of the parent class. I am just trying to override the method of a parent class. So what will happen if you if you do something like this? So it already knows there is no display method in the parent class, so you are doing some mistake. Okay, so either you remove this one, or if you remove this one, this is not a method overriding, so it will prevent the typos error. Okay, this is what all about override annotation. Now coming back here. Okay, now if you try to call this display method, so what is it? What do you think? What will the output? Like I already told you. Now just give me 1 second. Have this screenshot. Okay, okay. And what I have done, I have created a child. Okay, I have created this. I have created an object of the child class. Okay, let's write down this here. So let's see how this object, how this child class of this, how this child class object, newly created object will look like. See, referring here, it will have a, definitely have a, then it have a p, then it have a display method. Okay, it have another display method, and it have a welcome method. But as you can already see that this display method is overridden one. So what it will do now? It will just shadow this one. You do, so you already know the output. If now if you directly print, like it will print the child class display. Oh, shouldn't be error. Okay, child class display. Okay. Okay, now do something else, something new. Like what will happen if we use a parent? So this is okay. Now let's just come to the dynamic method dispatch. What is dynamic method dispatch? Dynamic method. Yes, creative ch. What does the dynamic method dispatch mean? See here. See this line. Okay. Uh, like for immediately just okay. And copy this one here. And I will told you guys what is method dynamic method dispatch. So see here. What is dynamic method dispatch? So we are having reference of a minute. Uh, we are having what is dynamic method dispatch. So an parent class reference holding an object of child class. What I said, when a parent class reference, this is the reference. So when a parent class reference is holding an object of child class and an overwritten method is called, so this call is resolved at runtime, not at the compile time, and the child class method at runtime. And what will happen as a result? The child class method will be called instead of the parent class. So let's see what I already told you guys. What I told you like this. What is this? This is the reference of parent type, and this is the child type object. So again, once again, what is dynamic method dispatch? Quickly. So when a reference of parent type is holding an object of child class and an overwritten method is called. So this call is resolved at runtime, not at the compile time, and the child class method is called instead of the parent class. So already I know the answer. This will sorry, wait. Okay, child class. Uh, Simple. And if we try to just like, you cannot do this like uh, a child class cannot have a child class reference cannot hold a parent class object. This is not allowed in Java. Like this, the child class cannot hold a child class reference cannot hold a object of parent class. This is not allowed. Okay. So it's enough. So these were the four pillars of OOPS. So what were the four pillars? Like, the first one was encapsulate abstraction. Let's quickly write here. Abstraction. So first one was abstraction. What the abstraction means? Hiding internal details and showing only the required feature to the user. The user don't like in this example, length and hiding internal details and showing only the required feature to the user. As in this example, we have taken the rectangle class with two properties, length and breadth, and two methods, like one was area method and one was perimeter method. If a user have to know the area, he will directly create an object of this rectangle class and call this area method upon it. And as same, if he want the perimeter, so he will directly create the rectangle class object and directly call this perimeter method. And he don't have to worry about the internal implementation or internal working, like how this area is calculated, what is the formula to find the area. Like we know, we as a programmer, we have written the class, so we will know, or we have, like it's totally depends on us. like what how we have to design the class. But user don't have to worry about all these things like how this class is created and what is the internal implementation of this. Like he will directly go create an object. Create an object and directly call the area method upon it. Okay. Now coming to the abstraction in Java, it achieves using abstract classes and interfaces. Okay, that is complete. And now what is encapsulation? So encapsulation basically means binding data and binding data and methods into a single unit known as class and restricting the access of internal fields or data. And how we can achieve it. And in Java, encapsulation is achieved using by making the fieldless private, by making the fields as private and defining getter and setter, and defining like we will either define a getter method and setter method, like I shown you on the VS Code. Now coming to the inheritance, what does inheritance means? Uh, Sorry. So what does inheritance means? Inheritance basically means like inheritance basically means acquiring all the features, and the features basically acquiring all the features of an existing class into a child class. What I said, acquiring all the features like A is a feature, display is a feature, acquiring all the features of an existing class into a new class. That is known acquiring all the features of an existing class. What is existing class? Parent class into a new class, that is child class. This is called inheritance. And inheritance of many types like single, multi-level, or hierarchical. 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 Okay. So it and this why it if we try to create a object of child class, so it will have A display, then B and welcome. A B display welcome. Okay. And what is polymorphism? So poly means many and morph means form. So polymorphism basically means many forms. And what does it allows a method to behave differently based on the object it is called. It is of two types. Like one is compile time polymorphism, and another one is runtime polymorphism. So method overloading is a form of compile time polymorphism, and method overriding is a type of runtime polymorphism. What does method overloading means? It allows a method to have many classes. It allows a class to have many methods with the same name but different in parameter list. Okay, like we can see here, like none of this method is small. Okay, we can see. Oh, okay, I will. Now coming back to method overriding, what is method overriding? So method overriding basically means the child class changes the behavior of the parent class method. The child class changes the behavior of the parent class method without changing the method definition. Like you can see here, same method definition, void display, it all, but it just changed the behavior, like redefine the method without redefining the method definition. Okay. So, and it will like if we have created a child class method, child class object, it will have A display, then B display of the parent class as well as display of the child class and the welcome method. But the display method of the parent class will be shadowed. So if we try to call C dot display, so it will display us, it will show us on the console like child class display. Okay. Now coming back to what is dynamic method dispatch. So I already told you what is dynamic method dispatch. So when a parent class when a parent class reference is holding an object of child class and an overridden method is called, so it is resolved at runtime, not at compile time, and as a result, the child class method is called instead of the parent class method. So this is all about.